in storytelling, especially in film, a visual medium, it is show, not tell. People don't take in information, or they take it in much better if it's the information is in service to a story that touches their hearts. And so science tells us that the most effective storytelling is one that is human-centered, around people we care about, we identify with, we relate to. And we release oxytocin when we watch something about someone we care about, and that is the love hormone. It's what makes us feel attracted to somebody. It's the hormone we secrete when we kiss, when we breastfeed, when we have sex, when we hug, when
we
and
watch
then,
videos of our kids, as like the one
exactly, you feel warm and fuzzy. It actually changes your body chemistry. And then the story needs to be structured in a way where there's some tension and rising tension. And if so, that's what captures our attention and holds our attention, because we secrete cortisol. And cortisol is, it's a hormone that is from our, the amygdala, the fear center. And it's what heightens our attention. So if you have rising tension in a story, and you have people who are relatable, the cortisol grabs the attention, keeps your attention, because, I mean, we're in an attention-starved world, but even before social media and all these other things, our brains are prone to wander, but you want someone engaged. So it engages our brains, it engages our heart. And then after, if I believe strongly in structuring stories that, well, the classic story structure from like ancient times to today is there's someone, that person has a goal, there are obstacles in the way, the person has to struggle to reach the goal. We have to understand what's at stake. The bigger the stakes, the harder it is to reach the goal. The more we identify with the person and root for them, the more we go on that emotional journey with them, which is actually, if you study people's brains when they're hooked on a story, their brains act like a participant, not a spectator. So you can actually bring someone on an emotional journey, and then if you end on triumph, they reach the goal, you leave your viewer feeling, wow, I can do that too. And then it also releases dopamine, which is kind of the reward center, from the reward center of our brain. So it leaves us feeling optimistic and hopeful. So that is like.
So it sounds like you start with oxytocin, and then you get to cortisol, and then you hope to leave them with dopamine.
Right. And the way to do that is to tell stories about somebody the viewer cares about, whether it's the candidate telling his or her own personal story where we care about the person, and that person's struggle. It could be personal struggle, it could be struggle of why they care so deeply about why they're running or a certain issue, and then ending with a sense of hope. Because if you leave people with no hope, then they're not going to feel like they should take any action, because if they're not going to be able to achieve their goal, then why bother? You want to, and which is,
so
yeah.
Cheryl, one of the criticisms I had, and like I struggled with, we've all seen those cheesy political ads. It's like, it's a black and white photo, and it's like, I grew up like, the son of a cobbler, or like the daughter of a Thatcher, or what, I mean, I'm making that up because I don't think we have Thatchers anymore, but it's like where you make the person relatable, and then like you make it seem like they overcame this hard Scrabble background, and then like you have some uplifting photos of them. Like I personally have lost patience for those political ads, and I know when you and I talked about this stuff, like I struggled a little bit with trying to convey things in a way that felt personal to me, that just didn't feel like artifice, or it's like, okay, hit this beat, hit that beat. Because I feel like at this point, people have just lost all patience with political ads and communication. But it sounds like the things you're saying appear in a lot of these political ads. So do political ads look the way they do because they work?
I don't I don't know, but I think that execution, it's always the devil is in the details, right? It's like what I'm laying out, you can, like any story, you can execute well or you can execute poorly. So
Just like all
cheesy's
the movies that
horrible.
are out there, like because no one
Yeah,
sets out to make a bad movie, but there are a lot of bad movies that get made.
sure. And it's not paint by numbers. It's not like there's no formula to follow. It's really about for every single person finding what is most genuine to them. But that doesn't mean cheesy. And cheesy is how something's shot. It's the music. It's the graphics. It's cheesy is, it's a quality. And so I think that you want the feeling of a video to reflect the identity and feeling of the candidate, not to, because everything, again, I hate the word authenticity because it's so overused, but that is one of the many reasons, Andrew, why you broke out, because you didn't study what do other politicians do and how do people running for office, how am I supposed to behave? You didn't do that. You always showed up as you.
Well, one thing that we found early in the campaign when we were shooting various videos or appeals, where the most effective appeal was just me talking to my cell phone camera. I think because of what you're describing, where it strikes people as very genuine and human because everyone talks to their phones. And so it seemed like you couldn't fake anything. And I think that's something I've seen with younger political figures,
Yeah.
where they seem really good at that.
Right.
I'm not sure how excellent an Instagram soliloquy deliverer I am, in the scheme of things. But I agree that just giving someone a glimpse into your moments on the trail or your, home or whatever it happens to be, it makes them feel like they know you in a particular way. I think if a politician was not able to do that, then it seems like there's something missing.
Well, AOC's launch video was brilliant. It wasn't hugely polished, but that didn't matter. I mean, in terms of how it was shot, it actually probably was helpful that it felt so real. And it was everything I just described in terms of, her struggles, her journey, her why, her being relatable. But it was, not cheesy. There was nothing cheesy about that video. So it's all about the execution, and people being vulnerable, being themselves. I mean, you see even studies about leadership and what builds trust and what builds loyalty among a leader. It's if that person has credibility and then that person is vulnerable and shares that they're fallible or that they're scared about something or that, shares human emotion that we all have, then people see that person as human, not superhuman. You don't want to be seen as superhuman because then you don't seem approachable. You don't seem real.
Most people probably would like to be seen as superhuman. Thank you for listening in. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you did, please do subscribe to Yang Speaks and click on notifications so we can let you know every time we have a new episode.